Part 3 of A Place for Frogs. Paragraph 25. When too many frogs die, other living things may also have trouble surviving. That's why it's so important to protect frogs in the places where they live. Frogs have lived on Earth for about 200 million years. We need frogs. Frogs help us survive by eating insects. Frogs protect farmers' crops, which are plants that we eat, like corn, tomatoes, beans, and help us stay healthy. Frogs are very sensitive to changes in the environment. When we see problems in our frogs, it warns us of dangers that might affect other plants and animals too. Then we can look for ways to fix the problems. Other animals need frogs. Frogs are an important part of the food chain. Yes, even here when you might be a little disturbed by it. Eggs and tadpoles are good sources of food for fish, large water insects, and ducks, meaning that those animals do eat their eggs and the tadpoles. Adult frogs are eaten by fish, snakes, lizards, bats, otters, foxes, water shrews, and birds. Without frogs, many other creatures would go hungry. Paragraph 28. Sometimes people do things that can harm frogs, but there are many ways you can help these special creatures live far into the future. Join a group of people keeping track of frogs that live in your area. Join a group of people working to protect or restore wetlands near your home. Talk to teachers at your school about celebrating Save the Frogs Day. Hey, that might be a really cool thing for us to do this year. I will also tell you that Eagle Creek has, before COVID, I don't know right now, but they had Friday night frog nights where they would go out and look for frogs and learn about things. So that would be a really cool thing to do. Helping frogs. Do not catch and keep frogs. Let them live in their natural environment. Do not buy frogs at a pet store. Frogs are wild animals and should live in their natural homes. If someone gives you a frog, do not release it into a wild place. It could eat other frogs or make them sick. Do not eat frogs' legs. I'm going to say this is weird. Ask local restaurants not to serve them. When I grew up, frog legs were a very popular food for people. I have never had them and I will never eat them, but people would eat them. And do not spray chemicals that could harm them. Fascinating frog facts. No one knows exactly how many kinds of frogs live on Earth. So far, scientists have discovered and named almost 5,000 different species, which means kinds of frogs. But people keep finding new kinds of frogs every year. The micro frog is the smallest frog on Earth. It is about the size of your fingernail. Wow, that's super tiny. The Goliath frog is the world's largest frog. It's as big as a rabbit. Wow. About 500 kinds of frogs belong to a family called true toads. They have dry, scaly skin and spend more time on land than other frogs. That means all toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. It's a whole nother conversation. All right, we're almost done with this story. Here we go. Paragraph 35. A female western toad can lay up to 16,500 eggs at a time, but less than 1% of those eggs hatch and develop into adults. Wow. The lucky few western toads that do grow up may live to be more than 35 years. What? They can live to be 35 years old? The harlequin frog tadpoles can only eat one kind of food, extra eggs laid by their mom. Ooh. That means the harlequin frog tadpole can only eat the eggs its mother laid. So like it's the babies that weren't hatched. In winter, wood frogs bury themselves in leaves and freeze solid. In the spring, the males attract mates with a call that sounds like a quacking duck. What? So these frogs, the wood frogs, bury themselves in the leaves and then they get frozen. That is craziness. I hope you enjoyed all these interesting facts. I know I did. If you need more help, please message your teacher or myself.